A big thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring this week's video.
It's so peaceful, apart from a cuckoo. It doesn't get better than this. This is really, really special. Morning everybody, fantastic to see you all again. And look what we've got, amazing fog in a place that I've been so many times before and I've never had fog in this exact location. I'm sure there's loads of fog here, but I'm always unlucky. But there's some oak trees down here that I'm super excited about shooting. So I'm gonna go and see if I can find a composition. And yeah, it's 4:20 at about 10 minutes before sunrise, and it's quite overcast as well, so I don't think we're going to get much light, but that doesn't matter. This is perfect for the shot I want. Right, let's go. Okay, so we got really lucky and the fog has just got low enough to make this shot work, and this is the first time in about 20 times that I've been here where the fog's just crept into these woods. And I'll show you a shot I've taken here before where I haven't had that fog and how it's so difficult to separate the elements. So what I've tried to do is, on the left hand side I've got this quite dominant oak tree just sort of leading in. The tricky thing with the composition is up here where this top of this oak tree here intersects with the back oak tree, and I've just sort of tried to align it. I'll move my camera left and right so you can see, but I've tried to align it so that it doesn't look too connected, but doesn't interfere with the background too much. And then the rest of it just sort of takes care of itself. I think it'd be nice to have a view through to something. So I'm in two minds whether this is the best composition, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this one until I find the right one where I can spend a bit more time just fine-tuning. I may come back here, but I'll probably have a look at some other compositions as well, but I wanted to show you this one first of all. I've got a polarizer on just to take any sort of glare off the leaves, and then I've just sort of composed the bottom part of the rocks as well. I tried doing some foreground, but the problem is with foreground is that you have a lot of rock, and then the really interesting trees at the top become not a big part of the image. So yeah, it's looking good. Okay, so I've got this scene here which is pretty spectacular. I've just walked down the path and looked back, and what's good about it is that there's a bright area you can see just sort of here. So what I'm trying to do is align the elements. I've got a path running through here. I've got this tree on the right hand side here, and then to balance that tree I've got a rock on the left hand side. I'm just, maybe this tree here coming out of this rock might not look quite right, so I'm just going to maybe just try and tweak it a little bit for that. But apart from that, this looks amazing. Oh, I said just concentrate on one composition last week, but it is so difficult to do that when there are so many good shots today. I literally could take 10 good shots. This is literally one of the best days of photography I've ever had in a long time. Oh wow, this is amazing. So I'm going out into the open now a little bit and see if I can find some sort of individual trees and maybe a little bit of composition around that. I've shot here quite a lot before, so I know a bunch of trees that I might be able to go to, but it always changes. When the mist is like this, it always changes. Going the wrong way, this way, isn't it? Okay, I've been walking outside for a little bit now. I say outside the woodland, the main sort of dense woodland of oaks, and there's an old silver birch here, which is really twisted, which looks good. I've been trying to find a composition on it for probably best part of an hour really. I think I've got something. I think I might be overworking it if I'm honest. And I probably should have moved on ages ago, but I thought I'd show you because I think it's interesting. So I've got the tree, if I just sort of record my screen here. So this is my composition, and I've got this tree here as the main tree. In fact, now I'm just looking at this, I'm probably just going to have to move a little bit, because can you see there's a branch behind it that's sort of interfering with that main branch? So I think if I move maybe just a bit to that side there, that's a bit cleaner. So I probably just have to tighten that up a bit. Yeah, so now I've hidden the tree behind that tree. There's also a lot of midges here, as you can see around me, and as soon as I stop they attack me. So I'm not going to do this for long, and then I've got like these ferns down here, and then there's just a nice line. This bright patch I'm not too worried about. And there's a tree through there as well, which is quite nice. So I think there's a lot of interest in it. It's not the best photo this morning, but it was worth taking. I'm just enjoying this so much. Ow, bitten.
Nothing ever felt as good or as easy as when we were young. Oh, though I felt misunderstood, it was a pleasure.
So peaceful, apart from a cuckoo. It's so amazing. I just love mornings like this. You almost just don't want to photograph. It's just so beautiful. There's cobwebs with dew on them and mist. It's still, and just hear the tweets of the birds, and then that cuckoo in the background, and there's nobody else around. It doesn't get better than this. This is really, really special.
We were just children, acting like a doll, crazy, naive, bold and carefree. We were kids.
I'm struggling for the last sort of half an hour. I've really struggled a little bit to find something that works, and I'm being quite picky about what I'm choosing, because I don't want to just waste too much more time on things that aren't going to work whilst the conditions are so good. You can see behind me here there's this sort of light patch, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something that'll lead your eye into the image, and then have the elements, but I just can't quite find the trees that anchor the image well. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes I find with silver birch, you can spend a long time just trying to line everything up, but it's worth it. It's worth persevering and taking your time, and I think I'll get something. And the fog's lingering, so I'm good, I think. There's some amazing lupins as well that I've found.
They keep us on speaking terms. We grow and we learn. I have no regrets, only forgets. Oh, a big thank you to life.
So sometimes it can be really difficult to find order in all the chaos, even though it looks beautiful as it does in this amazing silver birch sort of enclave here. And it's a question of not trying to force it too much. You know, at the end of the day, if there's a composition, it'll probably present itself to you. And and just use your eyes. Don't put your camera down too much. Use your eyes, use your phone, and look on your phone. And what I try and do, if there's something like this where it's quite a lot going on, is to try and find some tree that's got some interest to it, and then use that as an anchor for the rest of the scene. I haven't found that tree yet though. I'll keep looking. Oh well, what a morning. That's to rank in the top mornings I've ever had doing photography. I think there's a couple of things that came into play really. One, the conditions were amazing, and we got these lovely sort of vivid greens on the ferns still, which is so good. I was so looking forward to be able to get out in conditions like this. And then two, I'm ready to get back into photography after a big break, and yeah, I think I got my mojo back. So I am so excited about going to have a look at these photos. Oh, so 2 mornings later and I'm back, and it's even foggier. So what I've done is I've sort of gone back home, looked through my photos over the last day or so. It's been quite busy because I've just announced the World Landscape Photographer Awards as well, but I've got back today and it's super foggy, so I'm really excited because some of the shots that I looked at probably needed a little bit more fog. So I'm going to go straight down now and get the shot of the really sort of twisted oaks again in a little bit more fog. I'm back at the woodland that I shot 2 days ago, and it's so spectacular now that the mist is so dense down here, so it looks so good. So if you just look in this direction, how amazing is that? So if I just sort of walk through, what you can see is that it's a question of just trying to line all the branches up and making sure that everything's just sort of balanced, because as you move around then things just look a bit different. But this tree here is really dominant, so I've got to be careful. And then the sky at the top here, it impacts into the scene, so the higher I can sort of get, the better really. But it's just a game of trying to align everything, and just when you think you've got it, something just doesn't quite work. So I'm going to take my time and get the best shot I can here, because it is really special. Let me just show you what I've got here. So I've got this tree here. I'm a little bit further back, because by moving further back I've softened this tree a little bit because it's now more in the mist, and then it just comes round into this gap here, and then I've got another little tree just down there that just comes through, and then all these bits here just seem to work well together. So there's depth to it, and I think I've got it about right. Oh, this is so good.
It is literally like a cooker in here. I mean, I'm in my log cabin, my studio where I usually shoot, as you can see, and we're having a heat wave at the moment. Now, I'm sure anybody in any normal hot country would not think this is a heat wave, because I think it's about 28 degrees C, but without air conditioning, you can't cope with it in England, and we just all go into meltdown. But I'm back from those few days last week, and they were stunning, and really, really pleased with this final image that I got on the second day, actually, of going back and just tweaking some of the composition. There was just little things like just this bit of the branch here and this little bit coming out just wasn't quite right. I felt like in the one the previous day, the balance just wasn't quite right between the left and the right. I think it works, this balance, because this is quite a dominant sort of trunk here and tree, and these aren't so dominant, but there's more of them, so they balance each other out quite well. And then I just had to get the right amount of foreground to sort of the top. The other thing that was really good in this shot was that I managed to get more fog, and so it just creates more atmosphere in it compared with the one from the previous day. It's quite blue because this was taken just at sunrise, so the light was still quite blue, and that's why I could have made it look greener. In fact, I did another one of the previous day, this one here, which I did. This is much later in the day, and you can see these are the true colours of the forest, really, and you can see it's a lot greener than the other one, but I prefer this. I think it looks so much better. So I'm really pleased to say that this and this shot here of the silver birches, which I really, really like, really simple shot, but there's a lot of depth to it, a lot of detail. You can see the wall down here. It's somewhere that I go quite a lot, so it means something to me. I really like this, and both these images now I've put on my website. I don't add that many portfolio images onto my website. I add them when I feel like I've got photos that people might want to own and hang on the wall. I'm dead proud of these. I really, really like them. So they're available now in all different sizes, and just for the next week I'm going to offer a special offer, which I'll probably do on all my prints when I put them up, for 30% off. So if anybody's keen on getting one of these, then probably in the next week is a good time to get it. I've done that really easily with Squarespace, who are sponsoring this video. It's so simple, as I keep saying, to add things and build your own website with Squarespace. So if you're looking to build just a portfolio of your photos, or a store, or you're just trying to get out in photography and you want to set up something to tell people about your business, whether you're a landscape photographer or portrait photographer, then definitely have a look at Squarespace. You can set it up really easily going to squarespace.com, and if you're ready to go forward, then you can get 10% off by using the offer code Nigel. So thanks ever so much for watching. The one last thing I'll say is my book has got 10 copies left. So if you want a copy of this, I'm going to be talking about how I made this and photo books in general in next Sunday's video. But by then I suspect they'll all be sold out. So and I'm not going to do a reprint of it. So if you want a copy of it, then you can go to the link in the description below. Thanks ever so much for watching, and until sometime midweek, bye.
That we did.